Chairman, Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members may have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks and to include extraneous material on this resolution.
Objection.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also ask unanimous consent to place into the record letters to the chairman of other committees of jurisdiction.
Without objection.
I thank the Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentlewoman from Florida is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is fitting that today, International Human Rights Day, we consider and debate the bill before us, the Venezuelan Human Rights and Democracy Protection Act. The House unanimously passed a similar measure that I authored and introduced earlier this year, and I urge passage of this measure before us that was presented by Senators Menendez and Rubio. The people of Venezuela, Mr. Speaker, have been crying out for help. They've been begging the United States and all responsible nations to help protect them against the tyranny and the brutality under the Maduro regime, the puppets, really, of the oppressive Castro regime in Cuba. And I should point out that today, on International Human Rights Day, the Castro thugs rounded up and imprisoned 52 human rights activists. Today, Congress speaks in a unified and bipartisan voice. The human rights situation in Venezuela has actually gotten worse under Maduro since the death of that other Castro sycophant, Hugo Chavez. In fact, since February 12, 2014, also known as National Youth Day in Venezuela, the freedom-seeking people of Venezuela have risen up to challenge the abuses, to challenge the undemocratic actions being committed by Nicolás Maduro and his lackeys, demanding their most basic and fundamental rights. Naturally, oppressors have but one option, which they never fail to resort to, and Maduro, as we knew he would, responded with a violent crackdown against those who had the courage to challenge his authoritarian rule. Ever since the peaceful demonstrations against the regime began on National Youth Day, 42 people have been killed. There have been nearly 60 reported cases of torture, and 72 students remain jailed to this day. Pro-democracy leaders have raised their voices against the abuses of the regime, and they have been persecuted with politically motivated charges, and those arrested face indescribable cruelty in prison. Leopoldo Lopez, one of the faces of the democratic opposition, continues to be imprisoned in a military facility. Leopoldo is continuously denied visitors, and his legal proceedings, such as they are plagued with irregularities. Daniel Ceballos, the mayor of the city of San Cristobal, was impeached and arrested by the Maduro thugs earlier this year. Daniel's only crime was to defend his constituents from the repressive abuses of the National Guard deployed to violently quash them. But these cases, sadly, Mr. Speaker, are not isolated. Earlier this year, Maria Corina Machado, a courageous woman and vocal opposition leader, came to Washington, D.C., came to the United States to speak in front of the Organization of American States on the tragic situation in her homeland of Venezuela. The OAS, the Organization of American States, is a body that is supposed to uphold and protect the democratic charter and human rights in the Americas. Maria Corina was blocked by Castro sympathizers, Maduro sympathizers, and their cronies, and she was prevented from even addressing this body. And when she returned home, what happened to Maria Corina Machado? She was illegally stripped of her position in the Venezuelan National Assembly because she dared to speak out against the regime and in favor of human rights. But the problems of Venezuela go beyond these democratic abuses. Nicolás Maduro's inability to contain a spiraling, hyperinflationary economy marked by shortages of consumer goods, along with a skyrocketing crime rate, creates a difficult, almost unbearable situation for Venezuelans to endure. The legislation before us targets Venezuelan officials responsible for the perpetration of human rights abuses against the citizens of Venezuela. And how do we do that? We deny them visas, we block their property, we freeze their assets here in the United States. Mr. Speaker, the distress signal sent to us by the people of Venezuela did not just start in February. For years, the Venezuelan people have been calling out for help, asking us for our assistance, for us to do something, anything that will help stop the terrible human rights abuses of the authoritarian thug Chavez and now his mini-me, Maduro. But sadly, our administration has been deafeningly silent, embarrassingly silent. It has turned a blind eye to the harsh and brutal reality in Venezuela, had been afraid to speak out and take action against Chavez, and until now has been far too afraid to challenge Maduro. But the United States Congress will act, Mr. Speaker. Let's send a strong signal tonight, not only to the administration, but to the people of Venezuela, that the United States Congress hears, sees, and feels their suffering, and we will not allow their anguish to go unobstructed. The United States cannot ignore its responsibilities, and we must answer the calls for freedom, for democracy around the globe. We must be the voice for those who are being silenced by their oppressive regimes, and we must stand for the values that we believe in, not just here at home, but everywhere. Mr. Speaker, by passing this bill and sending it to the President's desk, we will do just that. With that, Mr. Speaker, I reserve the balance of